Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is of course the Legendary Porpoise, and I know it's been a minute since I've last posted a video, but I decided to make one more video before I get back into the world of Elmoran. But this is going to be a really awesome guild hall that can be generic and used for everything, but I really like the way it came out. But let's get on with the intro and get on with the video. Alright, so pretty much shaking things up a little bit, this is a massive build, and I typically don't build very large structures unless it's meaningful in the world in which I'm building, but I really wanted this guild hall to have everything you would need. It has a bunk room, it has a formal kitchen, it has a dining area, it has a giant guild hall, it has bunks, it has pretty much everything that you would want in a guild world. Now, I took some inspiration from the guild in Skyrim, I forget the name, but the one in Whiterun, and I really kind of went with that and kind of made it something, and I just really like the way that this came out. It's very multi-tiered. It has 2 floors, a very high-reaching roof, which I didn't necessarily utilize because when I was experimenting with it, it just didn't really turn out the way that I wanted to. So I was really going for like a very grand vaulted ceiling. But I didn't really go with that. I decided to do something else that you will see in the first person walkthrough, and I think it came out very, very well. But pretty much, you have your first floor made out of stone, things like that, and then your second story is going to be some wood and some Tudor frames, kind of mixed in. One section is going to be wood, the main section is you can see that I'm building now, and then the side portion and the hallway leading into the main room are going to be Tudor. And once again, the color palette is a little different than what I typically do, but I wanted to try to mix it up. Some, have some yellows, some light stone, some, that wood is kind of I think it's called ashen wood, but it has a very nice tint to it that I typically don't utilize, but I decided to utilize it anyways. And it came out very different, but I think it fits overall with the theme. Now, this will be a guild hall in Acelong, and once again, it'll fit with that theme, especially with the blue roofing, the fantasy roofing, and things like that. And just with the size alone, it's going to have its own little perch in the city. Now, for what guild it will be housing, I'm not entirely sure yet, as the lore for Acelong and the world of Elmoran is actually extremely complicated. It's full of a ton of internal conflicts, assassinations, wars, just desolation, everything in the world that you can think of in a storytelling perspective, Elmoran's going to have. And I just, I'm really excited for that. It's taken me a long time to write the lore because it is so complex, but then also because I hold a full-time job on top of this channel, hoping one day to just, go YouTube full-time, but of course that's way down the road. And, we just gotta keep building the channel and everything. And speaking of which, of course, if you haven't already and you like the content, it would be awesome if you subscribed. It would mean the world to me. Comment below on what you'd like to see in the world of Elmoran, with the little bit of history that you already have. And we'll build on that. We'll just keep building on these solid foundations that we have. But we're about to get on with the walkthrough. Sorry for talking so much, but let's get on into it. And now, of course, the majority of the rest of the video is going to just be the first person walkthrough. But as you can see from this angle, I didn't do the environmental building here. I just, I wanted to get this build out because I'm really proud of it, and I think it came out really awesome. It's definitely much more different than I typically build. I'm really trying to switch up my styles. But you can see here we have like a little pathway. This would be in the city where, people could sit. But walking into the first floor, we have a little bit of a meeting room for the guild. Now, this is not the guild hall per se, but this is where we're going to have multiple rooms, and we'll get to those in just a second. But we have like a small little bar area where you could, trade items, and, things are stolen or something like that. You could use this to make them, never heard of again. But here we have a small training room. So you can see we have some bows and arrows. We have some swords. We're going to have some spears, maces, clubs, axes, everything in the world that you would need to train and hone your violent skill, you could do in this room. We have some little dummies that, they would practice against some wood dummies, which is just some armor stands. We have some chests, things like that, some torches lighting it up. I didn't want to put a hanging light in there because I tried it and it just looked silly. But moving on. This is going to be the study room or library room. Now, you can see it's chock full of books, and this is going to be where people could learn the history of said guild. They could learn on, battle tactics, fighting tactics, espionage, things like that, that any guild would need to, further advance their agenda and, to become not only profitable, but also influential. This is the little bar area, of course. Once again, you could trade items. This is where, like, if this was an RPG, you would, buy and sell food and items and all that good stuff for a hefty profit. Now, going in this room, we actually have the bunks. And I decided to make this pretty large. It takes up the whole left side of the build. But each room is going to have 2 beds in it. You can see here, just something simple. 2 beds on the ground, a table, have some weapons, a little bit of candlelight, a dresser drawer, that kind of stuff. So the members of the guild could just hang out here, get the rest that they need in a very safe haven in which, politics and things like military or police kind of units couldn't get in and interfere. Once again, we have just a small little storage area here. When in doubt, if you don't know what to do with a room, make it a storage room. It works every time. And once again, we have the 2 beds here and dressers and a little light and a sword on the table to readily defend themselves. And I was really hoping I could somehow make like an item casing, kind of like what they have in Skyrim, how, you can pick the lock of the glass and get a weapon. But unfortunately, that's not something that we can do in Conquest Reforged just yet, hoping down the road that is something that we can have. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go on upstairs, and this is going to be going into this room, just kind of like the memorabilia room, right? This is going to have some of the things that has been gifted to the guild, has been stolen by the guild, or that they're just proud to have. And I just like it. It's not very cramped. It's spacious, but it is kind of like a show-off room, pretty much. And then this is the grand kitchen. And I really wanted to go all out on the decoration here. I typically make my kitchens very small, dining areas very small. But here you can see we have tons of cabinetry. We have food. We have, wine. We have seasonings. I mean, we have everything all right here. I tried to load the shelves up with as much detail, as I could without it looking crazy overcluttered. We have the fireplace, of course. I like this little island. I don't think I've ever done an island before, but I really think it came out well. Pots and pans, jams, recipe books, things like that. Orders taken for, certain guild leaders. And it just, like I said, it came out really, really well. I couldn't be more proud of this grand kitchen. I absolutely love it, and I really tried to put a lot of my interior design into that, and once again, I think it just came out really well. So this is the room that you could come out, or you could come into from the outside if you take the stairs upwards, and once again, it's just kind of like a small, like a foyer, right? And, see, this is where you would come up, and you walk in, and you have the foyer here, and this is where you would be introduced, and meet with the guards there or what have you in order to get in. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the grand hall, and this is it. And I love walking into it. We have the chandeliers going down the center. We have the roof coming around and just kind of closing off the room. We have multiple banners. We have, carved pillars. We have a little spot here in which people could present their case to the guild leaders for decisioning and all that kind of stuff. We're going to take a seat here where they would be, and there you go. I mean, how can you argue with that view? I think it looks so cool, and it just gives me that Skyrim, Witcher kind of feel, and I just really love the way this came out. I just think it looks absolutely cool and amazing, and of course, this is where a lot of people could dine and just drink and have fun and share stories, brag about their accomplishments and things like that. You can see we have plenty of food on the table. We have portraits on the wall from, some of the leaders of old, other portraits depicting battles and things like that are memorable to this guild. And yeah, I mean, I just think it looks really cool. I mean, you take one last look at it and I don't know. I really like the way it came out. It is simple, but I've really been trying to work on my interiors and to build them up and to make them more cluttered without overdoing it. And I think I accomplished that, especially with that main, feasting hall. And of course, we have the patio here. You got to have a patio. You got to have that little balcony area, no matter what. I mean, that's just how it is. But we're gonna do the fly around real quick, and you can see here it is pretty good. I mean, it's solid. It's a chunker building. It's pretty big, but here you have it, and this would fit good in any world. Like I said, I got to fix that actually. Sorry about that. But yeah, I just like the way it came out. I like the different color palette and everything. Now here I kind of messed up on the side there. Just kind of ignore that. Sorry about that. I'm making more mistakes as I get older. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. The brain, starts slipping a little bit. But yeah, so this is the build. And once again, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of it. I'm really, really excited that it is here and that it came out well. And this is why, once again, it kind of took so long to build it, because I just really wanted to make it as perfect as possible. But thank you so much for watching the video. All of you are amazing and awesome. Y'all are a great community. We're still almost at 1,000 subscribers, so let's get there. But this is the Legendary Porpoise signing off. Have a good day and happy gaming.